Work from a photo with clear value structure. This moment immediately struck me as interesting to paint because of the play between light and dark shapes. Working with unclear lighting will most likely result in frustration. Even with a great photo, photography can have its limits and you want to balance it with direct observation. This photo of my cat, for example, doesn't capture her true color. She's much more orange and chromatic, and I carried this knowledge to my painting. It's important to use your photo as a reference, something you're interpreting and referring to for your painting, but not slavishly copying. I also decided to make the background blue to complement the orange of my cat. Make decisions to create an interesting painting. Don't act like a human copy machine. Here's the palette I've mixed for my painting. I've mixed value strains to adjust all the major colors. The orange of my cat, the reds and pinks of her ear and nose, the blue of the background, and browns for the floor. For your own painting, consider the mood you are going for. Consider the various color schemes you've learned about in class. Think about how value and color can be used to make your animals stand out. For my painting, I went with a complementary color scheme, orange and blue, with dramatic lighting. Here's my toned canvas with my sketchbook by its side, the thumbnails out to reference as I map in my composition. I've chosen this time to tone my canvas with burnt umber to give it some warmth. We have been toning our canvas a mid-tone gray throughout the semester. Now you can start to expand that if you want to. The burnt umber washes are great because they provide warmth. You still want to aim for a mid-tone in your ground layer, something where both the dark values will show as you paint them and where the light values will clearly show as you paint them as well. Next up is the time lapse for my painting, Wednesday in a Sunbeam. Map your drawing in and have your thumbnail composition out to reference. Begin mapping out your shadows. Don't immediately get wrapped up in the details of the fur. Instead, begin by treating the fur like a larger plane of value. Squint at your reference. What is the larger shadow shape that you are seeing? Map the entire thing in. Think big general shapes. Remember to work from dark to light. You are dealing with a more complex subject, but the overall process remains the same. Begin with general shapes. Address the shadow areas first and work your way up the value scale. With every value, remember to treat the fur like planes of value. If you try to paint individual strands of fur or hair, the effect can look really stringy like spaghetti. Rather, look at the larger shapes of your values. Have your brush strokes follow the direction of the fur. This requires active observation. As I start to work my way into the light, I'm changing the way I'm applying the paint. I'm applying the lighter values with a thicker scumble. Remember, scumble means dry brush. Scumbling provides a rough randomness to the brushstroke that can emulate fur really well. If you also have a beat-up brush with bristles splayed all over, here's a great opportunity to use it. Don't throw away those brushes. Getting a sense of randomness is key. And again, look at your reference and have your brush strokes follow the direction of the fur you are painting. You don't want to scumble everywhere. Reserve the scumbling for areas of light. This will make your light stand out. Become more detailed in the light areas and let your shadows stay thinner. Here is my final painting. I've built up the lightest portions of the fur using a scumble. I've also found areas throughout the painting, particularly the background and floor, to blend wet into wet. A variety of paint applications creates contrast and can build an area of focus. If a scumble, for example, is right next to a blended area, that scumble will look extra rough. Use a variety of paint applications. And remember, focus on the large planes of value. Pay attention to the direction of your brushstrokes and don't make the fur look like stringy spaghetti.